screen, use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over.
Hi guys, welcome back to XCOM 2. Run 24 here. Ended up scoring a skulljack in that officer, so that helped out a lot. The general mission here.
Thanks to your support of United Way, I'm able to achieve my dreams and become a doctor.
A good decision.
To Mississippi now, in a brutal crime that is now the subject of a major FBI investigation. Two sisters abducted from their home in Louisiana this week. One found dead, the other alive after a massive Amber search. It all started Tuesday when their mother was found murdered. Now the main suspect is making a shocking claim on camera. Madison Scarpino is following this tragic story for us.
Okay.
About this suspect.
In short order.
Well, Greg, 36-year-old Daniel Callahan is currently in Mississippi where that 4-year-old was found dead. And he did not hold back to reporters when they asked about the crime yesterday. Listen.
What I did, all I know is I'm going to say I was sober and on that Lexington Road and on Lexington Road. And I'm also diagnosed with borderline neglect, one personality disorder. And I have not got to talk to a lawyer.
He's facing capital murder and sexual battery charges in Mississippi. Investigators are accusing Callahan of brutally murdering 35-year-old Callie Brunette in La Ranger, Louisiana. There was then a frantic search for her daughters, 4-year-old Erin and 6-year-old Jaylee. The sisters were later found just hours away in Jackson on Thursday. The 4-year-old found dead in a wooded area, and the 6-year-old found alive. Callahan's alleged accomplice, 33-year-old Victoria Cox, is also facing capital murder and sexual battery charges. Officials are not yet saying how Cox is involved in the crimes. Now, here's the Jackson police chief at the crime scene Thursday after the missing sisters were found.
Horrible, horrible, tragic situation. You don't want to see that as a police chief. You don't want to see that as a father, to see this baby on the ground that has lost her life.
Our Fox affiliate out of New Orleans is reporting charges Callahan is facing in Louisiana as well. First-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and armed robbery. Now, it's unclear if Callahan will be extradited back to Louisiana or how the different jurisdiction factors will play out. But in the meantime, the FBI is still asking the public for any information on this case. Brett.
Such a tragic story. Madison Scarpino, thank you. Aisha?
And much more ahead, including my new reaction to my exclusive one-on-one interview with former President Trump this week as Fox News Live continues next.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and ensure complete with 30 grams of protein.
The target is mine.
Reminder, pet finger appointment.
I don't want to wait or have surgery for my Dupuytren's contraction. I want a non-surgical treatment.
And if non-surgical treatment isn't offered,
I'll get a second opinion.
Take charge of your treatment. If you can't lay your hand flat, visit findahandspecialist.com to get started.
was the last time you checked in on your heart? With Cardio Mobile, your personal EKG device, you can check it from home using your smartphone.
I use Cardio Mobile every day, sometimes twice a day.
Every morning I check, make sure I'm in good shape. It makes me feel pretty good about my heart condition.
It's a complete game changer. I mean, you might as well be in a doctor's office.
There's a way that I can communicate with patients now in a way I never could before. They have their own EKG in their pocket.
With Cardio Mobile, you can take a medical grade EKG in just 30 seconds from anywhere. Cardio Mobile is proven to detect atrial fibrillation, one of the leading causes of stroke. And it's the only personal EKG that's FDA cleared to detect normal heart rhythm, bradycardia, and tachycardia.
Having Cardio Mobile, it's a peace of mind for me.
Because you can't see your cardiologist every day, but you can see your Cardio Mobile every day.
This year, give Dad peace of mind for Father's Day with Cardio Mobile for just $79. Check out our Father's Day sale at cardio.com or Amazon.
When you're cooking on a black stove, you get a better cooking experience. You'll have bigger adventures and become part of the outdoor cooking revolution. With your black stone, you'll love every breakfast, lunch, and dinner you create, from fast and fun to low and slow. Cook anything, anytime, anywhere. Look at your nearest Blackstone retailer or blackstoneproducts.com now. Make everything better on a Blackstone.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude is hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because the research is being shared all over the world. It's awesome.
At U-Haul, we know every family moves at their own pace. Is that heavy? That's why we have U-Box. We can store it, or ship it. We're going to get the biggest room. How and when you want it. Reserve today at uhaul.com.
Only Purple's Gel Flex Grid passes the raw egg test. No other mattress cradles your body and simultaneously supports your spine. Memory foam doesn't come close. Get your best sleep guaranteed. Right now, save up to $400. Visit purple.com or a store near you.
Community members gathering outside of a church in Dearborn, Michigan today, where Donald Trump is set to host a roundtable discussion with local Black community leaders. This as he continues making further inroads with Black voters, as Biden's grip on the demographic is slipping. Welcome to Fox News Live. I'm Griff Jenkins. Aisha, let's do it. Let's do
it in the front row. I'm Aisha Husty. So President Biden landing earlier this morning in Los Angeles, straight from this week's G7 summit in Italy, to attend a star-studded Hollywood fundraiser. Meantime, Kamala Harris is taking Biden's place abroad as G7 leaders continue to work at the Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland. Lucas Tomlinson is live at the White House with more on the president's busy week. Hi, Lucas.
Well, Aisha, President Biden skipped dinner at the G7, but he's not skipping tonight's big fundraiser in LA. In fact, he flew through tonight to be there. As you mentioned, his Vice President Kamala Harris will be representing the Biden administration in Switzerland today for that Ukraine Peace Summit. As you mentioned also, President Biden landing in Los Angeles earlier this morning. I believe you have some video for that, but here he is. President Biden getting off Air Force One, and that looks like his daughter Ashley behind him. No doubt President Biden probably getting a jump on some debate prep while flying around the world. And today he's free before the fundraiser. Debate now less than 2 weeks away. The headliners of tonight's fundraiser: former President Barack Obama, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and Jimmy Kimmel, as you can see here. Fox is told $28 million has already been collected, perhaps more will be collected by the door this evening. Protesters are expected there tonight in Los Angeles. This is already being billed as the largest Democratic fundraiser in history. That's more than the big hall at Radio City Music Hall back in March. Obama was there as well. Before leaving Italy, President Biden, the second Catholic president in U.S. history, met with Pope Francis, greeted him in a less than traditional fashion by touching foreheads with the pontiff, as you can see here. Some calling it odd and a breach of protocol, which says a handshake and kissing of the ring would suffice. Also from Switzerland, we are hearing that British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was asked about President Biden's approval of Italy. Of course, he just spent some days with him both in Normandy and in Italy. And British Prime Minister question.
Very interesting. Lucas Tomlinson live at the White House for us. Thank you, Lucas.
In the DOJ admitting it will not prosecute A.G. Garland after the House voted to hold him in contempt this week. House Speaker Johnson responding, saying he's willing to take this to the federal court. Madeline Rivera is live with more. Hey, Maddie.
Hey, Griff. The Justice Department says this follows their long-standing policy. They won't prosecute an official for contempt of Congress if the president exerts executive privilege, and that is exactly the authority that President Biden used over the audio recordings of his interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur in his classified documents case, a directive the DOJ felt was legally proper. Yet on Wednesday, the House voted nearly along party lines to hold Garland in contempt.
We have to defend the Constitution. We have to defend the authority of Congress. We can't allow the Department of Justice, an executive branch agency, to hide information from Congress.
The department has already released the transcript of the tape subpoenaed by the House Judiciary and Oversight Committee. So Democrats say Republicans want the audio for partisan purposes.
This is the first time somebody's been held in contempt by the U.S. Congress for basically complying with everything Congress has asked for. They're looking for the audio tape so they can make some political TV attack ads.
Former Attorneys General Bill Barr and Eric Holder were also held in contempt of Congress. In both cases, the DOJ refused to prosecute them after former President Trump and Obama exercised executive privilege over certain records. As for what happens next, as House Speaker Mike Johnson threatens action in federal court, Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is floating an inherent contempt resolution. If passed, it would direct the House Sergeant at Arms to arrest Garland himself. And if Garland does move forward to move her resolution as privileged, the House has 2 legislative days to act on it.
And we will be following it, Madeline Rivera, with a great shot out front of the Capitol. Madeline, thank you.
Okay, off to the campaign trail. Former President Trump is in Detroit today for multiple events as he looks to cut into voters in the deep blue city. Madison Allworth is live in Detroit following the former president today. Madison, what are you seeing out there? Hey, Aisha, so the doors should be opening here really any minute in Detroit. We're at 180 Church, where the president is expected to speak at 4 p.m. in a roundtable. He's going to be talking to Michigan voters and trying to get them to vote for him in November. Now, this is the 4th time that Trump has been to the state this year. The campaign very serious about winning the state back after it flipped to blue in 2020. Now, with promises of a wall on the southern border, Trump is instead hoping to tear down the blue wall in the north, focusing on the states of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and right here in Michigan. Critical to that mission are the undecided and black voters, many of whom are here today. And they tell me that when he says he'll make a decision on who they vote for in November. Take a listen. As an undecided voter, what are you hoping to hear from President Trump today?
So I'm hoping to hear some of the major issues like unemployment here in Detroit, generally how is he going to address that kind of situation. So I'm basically open to hearing all of that today.
So big focus on the economy. People are also interested in immigration, and also this being at a church, they're also interested in hearing about Christian values. Those undecided voters, essential. Now, Trump, when he comes to Michigan, normally he comes to the suburban areas, but today he's focused on Metro Detroit. Big push for black voters in America for that campaign. That's going to be essential for him. He wants to pull out a win and reverse that 2022 blue push for the state in November. We'll see. They were supposed to open the doors about 5 minutes ago. They've been managing some lines. There's quite a few folks here for what is being classified as a roundtable versus a campaign speech. So it's supposed to be very community-oriented. And every voter I've talked to, guys, I think this is important with these events, every single voter is a Michigan voter. So these are truly local people who will be voting in Michigan come this November. Aisha, Griff, we'll send back to you. The former president always seems to bring out a crowd. Madison Allworth, thank you very much. So let's bring in our political panel now to get into the politics of goodness. We have, 4 to 5 months left. Pretty long time. A lot to get to, guys. Gentlemen, good to be with you. This is with us today, former Berger presidential campaign spokesperson Lance Trober and ARC Initiative Senior Advisor Tim Hogan. Thank you for joining us. I forgot to say your guys' names. Just wanted to get right into it. I want to start with what's happening in Detroit, but also what's happening on social media. The former president is really trying to expand not only the states that he's going after, the people he's going after, black voters, youth voters. He did this
very interesting TikTok video with a YouTube sensation, professional wrestler Logan Paul, and then did a podcast with him too. And they're, doing a face-off. They're selling T-shirts with Trump's mugshot on it. Lance, I want to ask you, does this work for the president? Could this really help him with that youth vote?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you saw it this week, a unified Republican Party here on Capitol Hill. You saw some people coming in and saying, folks that didn't usually get along with him coming in and saying, we are 100% unified. And look at the polls. Virginia is now competitive. Nevada is winning. I mean, at this juncture and this trajectory, I mean, he's on his way to making, this look like Jimmy Carter 1980 for Joe Biden.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, Tim, some youth polls came out this week. The New York Times Siena poll has Biden up by 2 points when it comes to the youth vote, so still pretty good for him. But the Quinnipiac poll has Trump up by 1, so kind of in that margin of error for both of them. But it is interesting to see, especially that age situation highlighted again. The president had his birthday yesterday, so age is back in the picture. We saw what was happening overseas with President Biden. How does the Biden campaign try to reach out to these young voters who are very clearly seeing almost like this juxtaposition of the two presidents right now?
Yeah. Well, I think on the age issue, ultimately, what I think is these two guys would have gone to high school together. So there's people are not going to rationally make a decision to say
look different.
They look different. One of them says crazier things, I would argue. But I think in terms of the youth vote, you have seen Trump make some gains. But at the end of the day, the Biden campaign, what they need to do is show that this is not a referendum, but it is a choice between two candidates. And when you line up the two policies of these two candidates, whether it comes to climate change and making investments in renewable energy, whether it comes to combating gun violence, expanding background checks, whether it comes to protecting abortion rights, where Donald Trump continually claims credit for striking down Roe v. Wade, and they want to go on offense, they want to go further. The issues that young voters care about, as long as that gets communicated by the Biden campaign, I think you're going to see momentum for the Biden campaign there, and you're going to see some of them deal with it.
All right, talk to a lot of people out there. I mean, this economic issue is a huge issue, hitting younger voters, everybody of all ages out there. I think that's the reason Joe Biden's having problems.
Yeah, especially when young voters have a hard time buying a house and getting things that they normally should be at this age. So the former president gave me an exclusive interview this week when he was on Capitol Hill meeting with congressional lawmakers, both in the House and the Senate. Made a lot of news, but also hit back at Democrats because Democrats right now are hitting him hard on his Milwaukee comments. Apparently, he said something during the House meeting talking about how Milwaukee is a horrible city. And this is what he said, trying to clarify his comments to me.
Clear what I meant. I said we're very concerned with crime. I love Milwaukee. I have great friends in Milwaukee. That it's, as you know, the crime numbers are terrible. We have to be very careful. But I was referring to also the election, the ballots, the way it went down was very bad in Milwaukee, very, very bad. And the people understand that, and they agree with me. Everybody agrees. No, that was a fake story that came out.
Tim, do people really care? The president, like you said, says things all the time, and he's trying to explain that he really wasn't talking about the city, but the crime. Do you really care?
Well, I would never advise a presidential candidate to say about a swing state in one of the largest cities that it's a horrible city. I also heard coming out of that meeting, he talked about Hannibal Lecter and Taylor Swift. This is just what Trump does. He's all over the map. But he also says offensive comments like that. And it's a reminder as to, yes, there's some unity. Republicans came together for this meeting, but they're mostly just bending the knee because the reality is he is back. Donald Trump will be their nominee, and they're going to be having to embrace the chaos agent that he is because he's their choice for president. It is just not good to say that a city is a horrible city in a swing state. And the bottom line is you had multiple people coming out of that meeting saying that's what he said. So that's what he says. He loves Milwaukee.
I was going to say, he also said to me he loves Milwaukee, so there's that too. Okay, he also made some news on the Senate map. There was all this back and forth between Larry Hogan, the RNC, and the Trump campaign. And I asked him about whether or not he would support the Senate candidate in Maryland if he wants to win the Senate. This is what he said.
Yeah, I'd like to see him win, and we got to take the majority. We have to straighten out our country. So I'd like to see him win. He's somebody that can win. I would have.
So this was actually really stunning for the Hogan campaign. I'll give you a backstory here. So the politics team here at Fox reached out to the Hogan campaign. They had no idea that this was coming, completely stunned.
somebody on the phone said, "Holy bleep," and then hung up. And then they came out with this. The reaction from the Hogan campaign was, Governor Hogan has been clear he is not supporting Donald Trump, just as he didn't in 2016 and 2020. So that was the statement after they had their holy bleep reaction. Lance, does this help or hurt Hogan? Everyone's saying it's going to hurt him, but you never know.
Well, I think what the president was saying is that getting a Senate majority back is going to be critical if he's elected president, right? And every candidate has to run their own campaign. Democrats are going to attack Republicans on abortion. He also talked about abortion, saying, look, don't let yourself get defined by Democrats on this critical issue out there. So at the end of the day, everyone's got to run their own race. And for the president to endorse him, I actually don't think it's the worst thing in the world. And saying that he wants him to win is also a recognition that getting a Senate majority back is a really big deal.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, Larry Hogan's he's in an impossible spot, right? Joe Biden won the state by more than 30 points in 2020. Governor Hogan, deep blue state, Governor Hogan didn't have two successful ones, but the difference now is he may be that 51st vote in the Senate to enable a Republican agenda. And I think when Marylanders look at that question, they're going to say no.
I think he was trying to be the uniter in chief in that moment and wanting to express that he was behind every single Republican Senate candidate. Veep states are on, and we still are no more closer to figuring out who might be the VP pick. I also asked the president if he could give us a hint.
A lot of folks surrounding you. Some of them are on the short list for VP. Was your pick for VP in that room with you?
Probably, yeah.
Do you know who your VP is? Because you told us at town hall you already knew back in the Iowa caucuses.
I have sort of a pretty good idea. Look, we have some really talented people. I have a pretty good idea, but I think it's probably, I'll do it the way it's usually done.
Okay, Lance, Doug Burton wasn't in that room that day. Does that mean Doug is out?
I have no idea. It sounds to me like Donald Trump is saying exactly what his campaign says all the time. That there's only one person who's going to make this decision at the end of the day, and that's Donald Trump.
Do you think he's made the decision?
I would never venture to guess whether he's made his decision or not. I would defer to what he told you the other day. But look, I think he has a great crop of candidates to choose from. But if you look at his polling right now, I mean, he is so strong in the electorate and so competitive out there. I mean, really, I'm not sure it really matters who he chooses at this juncture.
Tim, I know Democrats are watching this pick very, very closely. It's going to matter a lot. Of course, going to have to go head-to-head with Kamala Harris here soon on the debate stage. What do you make of his comments?
I think he's going to Lance's point, it's going to be a mercurial decision. He's going to make it that day. We don't know. I think some people have fallen.
Day up?
I think it may come day
Get out of here, guys.
Shot a dog, Pence is out, Rubio has stays. There's a lot of choices, but I think at the end of the day, Donald Trump is the defining person on that team.
That's true, and I do believe that he made the decision to do the interview with me on the spot in the moment as well. I don't think that was premeditated. Thank you both for joining us. We so appreciate it. Come back soon. Griff?
I should great conversation. Meanwhile, across the pond, the annual Trooping the Color event this morning featured a grand display of music and a horse guard parade. Princess Kate Middleton also made an appearance this morning, her first since her cancer diagnosis was announced. Stephanie Bennett is live from Buckingham Palace in London with more, and it must have been quite an event, Stephanie.
Oh, that is exactly right, Griff. There were thousands of people here. People were even camping overnight to secure their spot in the front of the line to see this spectacle. Not only was it good for the royal family and all of the spectators, but especially that tight-knit group, the king, the princess, to be able to have this moment as a family together, kind of forget about the heaviness of what's going on with their health right now, and just to celebrate, especially for Princess Kate and William's children as well, their smiling faces and their little outfits to see them today. Now, of course, the Trooping of the Color, it's an annual celebration to mark the sovereign's official birthday, although King Charles III's actual birthday, that's in November. But last year, he rode on horseback. This time, he rode in a carriage, a little reined back, if you will, with his wife, Queen Camilla. Prince William rode on horseback for the procession, and his wife, of course, in the carriage behind with the 3 children. The 42-year-old princess looking so glamorous, as always, in white, and wearing the Irish Guards regimental brooch as she is the regiment's colonel, of course. Now, she did miss last week's dress rehearsal for the big day, but last night she did give us an update on her health, saying that she is making good progress. But as millions know, with chemotherapy, there are good days and there are also bad days. The treatment is ongoing, she says, and will be for a few more months. And she also gave us some insight into her personal life, talking about engaging with her children's school life during this time and starting to do a little bit of work from home. And also saying that she's looking forward to joining a few public engagements over the summer. The royal family has in the past, of course, been very tight-lipped about information, especially when it comes to their health. But they've always said in the past that they are being very vocal about it this time in hopes to encourage others to get those much-needed checks. Now, of course, this does not mean that the king and princess are returning to official duties just yet. It is, of course, up to their medical professionals. And as Kate said last night in that statement, as she has good days and bad days, she's going to play things by ear. But today, the crowds, just so much excitement, the flyover, the noise of everything, the pageantry, it was truly magical for all. Guys, back to you.
She must consider it a good day because she certainly looked quite stunning in a story of resilience. Stephanie Bennett at Buckingham Palace. Stephanie, thank you. Aisha?
Okay, more rain is possible for southern Florida following massive flooding this week. That was compared to scenes from a zombie movie. We're going to show you all of it next.
Your best defense against erosion and cavities is strong enamel. Nothing beats it. I recommend Enamel Active Shield because it actively shields the enamel to defend against erosion and cavities. I think that this product is a game changer for my patients. It really works.
Frustrated by skin tags? Dr. Scholl's has the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Now there's an easier-to-use at-home skin tag remover, clinically proven to remove skin tags safely in as little as one treatment.
Do you owe over $10,000 in back taxes? Kevin Sorbo here with an important message. The Biden administration has proposed an $80 billion plan to boost IRS collections. This means they could garnish your wages, levy your bank account, and even seize your property. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax firm, can help protect your income and assets today while quickly settling your tax debt. But you have to act now while you still have options. Call Tax Network USA today.
When you're in the military, you're really close with your brothers and your sisters that are in the military with you. And when you get out of the military, you kind of lose that until you find a new family. We can talk about our struggles and the things that we did overseas. And not everybody can do that. I don't know. How's it going, brother? We live pretty close to each other, so you know it's coming out. When I go to Jack's house, we watch a lot of football, hang out, we go outside. The friendship has kind of grown into a family. I was talking to some vets last week, and it's amazing how you have these houses where they can come over because they're in chairs too. Carpet and wheelchairs don't mix very well. Tunnels, towers, they got rid of all that. They redid my whole bathroom. I thought they were just going to do the upgrades, but the surprise to me was they paid off the entire mortgage. When they told me they were going to pay off my mortgage, I cried.
Please visit t2t.org.
But good should be on one nation. The Hollywood star details how she's standing up against anti-Semitism and bringing communities together to fight back. The exclusive interview tonight.
The program helped me a lot because I met other kids who were going through the same struggles as me. So I was able to relate and find somewhere where I could fit in. Thanks to your support of United Way, I'm able to achieve my dreams and become a doctor.
This is a very special place, a very special part of the story. I'd like to welcome summer home here, very soon.
expected in Florida as residents work to begin cleaning the damage left behind by the intense rainfall this week, with some parts of Florida seeing nearly 28 inches of rain. Here's one man's experience.
I learned the hard way due to a lack of patience. I was safely secure in a parking lot. No rain, no water was touching me. But my ego got in the way and submerged in water as I was coming out the parking lot. And the water filled up the passenger side, the back, my side, and the rear driver's side.
Word from the spokesman. There's a VIP of some.
So for more on how the Red Cross is helping in the aftermath of this intense flooding, we bring in now Annette Mullen, Red Cross spokesman. Annette, thanks for joining us. I know it's a very busy time for you and your organization, so we appreciate the time. I want to just ask you, we're so used to seeing flooding down in Florida when there's a hurricane. This has been primarily due to just intense rain. Have you ever seen anything like this? And can you just describe, as we put some visuals on the screen, just how bad things are?
Yeah, so speaking with my colleagues who are in Miami right now, it is a devastating situation. You mentioned how floods are, you normally see those.
I gotta save this one.
But flooding it sneaks up to harm people so fast as those flash floods happen.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Here in Alabama and a couple of other places, it is one of the hardest disasters for people to go through because there is no warning, and that's what people are doing.